Hi, my name is Sandra, host of Boss Lady Live, where I come to you every Monday night with experts to discuss issues of crime and violence, love and relationships, health and wellness, various different topics that affect us right here in Jamaica. Please like and share and subscribe. Click on the notification bell to be advised when you're on. See you then.
Hi, good evening. Welcome again to Boss Lady Live. And I am coming to you from Kingston, Jamaica, as usual. And tonight, it is my Father's Day feature. And I have with me two veteran dads. And yes, two veteran dads. Andre has 3 girls, and Derrick has 2 women. I would call them women now. And so I just want to wish for those persons who are dads a happy Father's Day yesterday. I hope you were spoiled rotten as you deserve, if you deserve. And so tonight we're going to speak a little bit about fathers. Hold on. I think Derrick has frozen. Okay, let me bring him back in. We're going to be talking about how to be not how to be the best father, but we're going to get the experiences of these 2 fathers, these 2 girl dads, and maybe you can learn a thing or 2 from them. Some men are still not in their children's lives. We want to encourage those who are not in their children's lives and just let them get a little glimpse of what they're missing. So let me introduce Derrick first. Derrick Edwards is Trinidadian, American Trinidadian, Trinidadian American. And his few lines of himself is that he's a family man that loves being married and loves being a dad. He loves writing and creating music. He's an excellent musician, by the way. He's an excellent pianist. He loves to laugh, travel, and experience all life has to offer. And that is a very true statement of Derrick. And then I spoke to his wife, and his wife gave me a little blurb about him. And this is what she had to say about Derrick. 2 lines. Hold on 1 second. Okay, so it says, Derrick is a record producer, a pianist, married for 33 years this August, dad and best friend to his 2 daughters, Kayla and Terea, super supportive of his girls, and mentor to many young adults for 40 years because they also run their music ministry at their church. Well, several churches for that matter. Everyone who meets Derrick loves him because he is a good listener and a caring dad and husband. Woohoo! Wow. Okay. And we now go over to Andre Gordon. Andre, according to him, girl dad forever, right? And hashtag makes cute babies. He's commissioned land surveyor and principal of Andre Gordon and Company. He's a father to 9-year-old Leah, 5-year-old Anna, and 2-year-old Mia. He's divorced. And he's currently dating. He is a Chelsea fan and a Ravala forever. Lion paw. And that's not why I chose him, by the way. Good evening, everyone. Thank you again for joining. Let me see if anyone has said hello yet. No one has said hello yet. So we're going to start with you, Derrick. As an empty nester, what is it like being a girl dad? And being a girl dad for what? Kyla is how old? Derrick, you gone again?
She's 26.
Right. So you've been a girl dad for 26
She's
years.
26.
Right. And you're a girl dad now for 26 years. So you have loads and loads of experience. So just give us a little overview of what that was. I mean, did you want girls, or you just wanted a healthy child? I know they love you to death. So whether you wanted boys or not, I know you are now converted to being a girl dad. Just give us a little blurb about your, first of all, when they came into being. What was that experience like for you?
Uh well, it definitely changed my life. Having a child for the first time is, as any dad would tell you, it's a unique experience. But in my case, having a girl was uh, pretty much like floating on cloud nine, because I always wanted girl children. I just felt that it would have been, different. I didn't think I had it within me to raise a boy properly, and I'm happy that I've had. I'm sure that if a boy came, I would have done what I wanted to do. But I was
Right.
completely in my element, having having little tea parties and dressing the dolls. That was good for me. I didn't mind not throwing a ball outside in the yard. So
Okay.
I loved it. I loved it.
Well, you're a musician, and both your girls sing, both play the piano, one plays the cello. Was that deliberate, or they just fell into it because you and mom are both musicians?
Well, I kind of had a theory that music kids that play music are a little more disciplined than those that don't. I don't know how good that theory would stand up under scrutiny, but I do believe that when you have a child that learns to play an instrument, it makes them a little different, a little bit more under control. It makes them a little more. So uh, we thought that the kids need to learn to play an instrument, and I wouldn't say we forced them, but we demanded that they did. And over time, you know, uh, over time, they kind of didn't want to, but we kind of insisted, and now they are both very happy that they did, because they both sing, they both play, and different kind of ways, different styles, but they both use that gift now in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
So
Ye-
they're thankful that we did.
Great. All right, so get an overview of it. Okay, so over to you now, Andre. What you have three girls, Leah 9, uh, let me just, yes, Leah 9, Anna 5, and Mia 2. That is a handful. Give us a little overview as to your experience with your three girls. Because
Well,
I see you everywhere with them.
um, I I mean, the typical question is did you want girls?
Yes.
Well, well, ha- I have I have five, six sisters. So
Okay.
so girls, for the most part, girls were all I knew.
Right.
But having gone to Calabar, having played cricket, football, and you wanted a son. But
Yeah.
but then I mean, you got a girl, and you realize that given your experience, it was probably the best thing, the best gender to have gotten. I absolutely love it.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
love
can
being
tell.
I love being a girl that I think, and I've joked to my friends like, listen, you don't have any children until you have a girl.
Mm-hmm.
As a man, I think the love and the affection and the discipline that they impose on you, you
Mm-hmm.
know, I think it is second to none. It's a little bit challenging, but it's an experience that I relish and I cherish, and and I think of it. I'm glad I'm in this in the quote unquote predicament that I'm in. Well, but I wouldn't change it. People have asked me like, wouldn't you want a son? I'm like, I would, but I think the prospect of having four daughters kind of kind of scare me to just set it to
Yes,
just be comfortable with the three that I have now, and
yes.
just be satisfied with that.
Okay, so your situation is a little different. Whereas Derek is in a marriage, you do not actually live with your girls. How challenging is that situation?
It uh, it is very challenging. Um, one is overseas with my ex-wife. The other two is here. I see them almost daily. I Whenever I can, when I drop them to school and pick them up,
Mhm,
and I spend the weekends are reserved, as you might know, are reserved for them. And
mhm,
so nobody gets me to do anything on the weekend, basically. So the weekend is reserved for swimming, for tennis, for excursions, and for tea parties, for dress up, and
like
to,
Derek.
to yeah, to put on the little the bando and the thing and doing that, and yeah. So it is reserved for that, and the challenger, I have a 5-year-old who like calls me 20 times for the day. And so online school is different for most
Yes.
people. For me, online school is calling daddy FaceTime 20 times for the day. Daddy, where are you now? What are you doing? If I tell her, listen, I'm going out to the field, I'm going to Montego Bay. How is Montego Bay? What is happening? Stuff like that.
At five. At
Yeah.
5.
hmm
Wow. That's amazing. So you would say, all right, so Andre before girls and Andre after girls. Better person, um, more settled, different mindset. What would you say your girls have done to you?
Um, I get asked this question a lot. Um, have you changed or have you done anything differently because you have girls? I don't know what the difference is. I just know I have children, and whatever I do, especially, well, now that I think of it, everything in my life is centered or geared towards making the lives of my girls better
Mm-hmm.
or easier, to have an easier path, not a less challenging path, because you still provide challenges for them. But
Mm-hmm.
I am a better person. I'm a more patient person because of them. I've never been. I don't think I've ever been impatient or anything like that. But
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to be. They force you to be calmer, and when you raise them. So if I don't think my children have ever heard me shout. But
Right.
if, for example, a 2-year-old, if I try to speak sternly to her, the 5-year-old steps in, Daddy, don't do that. She's just a baby. And so it keeps you in check, basically.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so is this the right thing you want to do? So I don't speed on the road anymore. I don't drive recklessly. I don't drink too much. I don't do the stuff like that. Not because of me and but because you have to be there next week. So I don't take
Mm.
unnecessary risks, stuff
Risk
like
with
that.
you. Also,
Mhm.
you're more cautious about what you do
Yeah,
because you know you have to be there for them.
yeah, yes,
Okay.
basically.
Oh, fantastic. Well, we have spoken about them. Let me just give a little look see with the girls.
Mm. Wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheel on the bus go round and round, all through the town. The horn on the bus goes. The horns on the bus go all through the town.
Oh, that's so fun. That's so nice, Andre. It makes me see the softer side of Andre. And here is Derrick spending time.
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Derrick, you have two women to be married. One around the corner and one a few years to come. I mean, I can imagine how did you prepare them for one dating? I know well they have a let us speak a little bit about their background. It's a heavily church background. Let us give us a little overview of their background. How you grew them up as girls.
Well, we try to structure their life. Uh, uh, Definitely based on the principles, but also teaching them to be independent, to to make good decisions, and that means that you have to expose them to a lot of things. You have to trust them, uh, even though they may be may be wrong at times. You have to allow them to make mistakes. You have to which is difficult for people. We want to protect them all the time. We want that they're doing right all the time. But when they're in your home, this is the time you have to allow them to make mistakes, and so that they have a safe place to land if they fall. You have to offer them opportunities to make decisions, even though you know it's wrong. You have to let them do it and deal with the consequences of it, because it's a tough world out there. They have to know how to manage themselves and how to handle failures and how to do it all. So we never really restricted them.
So you don't have
Like or
you
you
don't
can't do this
punish.
before you.
You don't punish. What is
Don't what?
your way of punishing or correcting? What's your style?
Well, oh, I generally I am a talker and a listener. So kids when they're growing up, they push the boundaries, they challenge they challenge themselves, because that's what learning is, and being independent is about. Seeing if you could stand on your own 2 feet. So we allowed them to do that. We set up bounds, and fortunately for us,
I don't know why you're breaking up, but you're breaking up.
They kind of tiptoed
You're
the
breaking
line,
up and you're freezing,
what
Derrick.
was going to happen. They said when they turn teenagers. Sorry, break it up.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up and you're freezing.
Yeah.
I don't know why, because I'm
When
hearing
they
you perfectly
become
before. I hear. Go ahead now. You were freezing a while ago.
I'm not sure what's happening.
I'm hearing you better now.
Am I good now?
Yes. Please again.
Yeah. So we had very few occasions to have to punish them, because they never really crossed the line very much. So and they learned to make decisions, and we could afford to to let them do what they do and excel the way they wanted to excel, and we didn't have to worry too much about them at all.
And in terms of how did you and your wife manage, I should say, both not you don't always have the same parenting style. How do you balance that with you and your wife Nadine? Did you play good cop, bad cop? Were you always on the same page? Did you always check each other first before you dealt with
No.
it? Or daddy was the soft space to fall?
Because we
breaking up again.
No, for me, I am I hear me?
Hearing you now.
I'm a listener. So I'm able to talk to them and reason and listen and learn and get through to them that way. I came from a background where whatever your parents said to do, you had to do. No questions asked, and I didn't like that. So I vowed to be different with my children, and I talk to them about anything and everything. So and they have no problems coming to me with their innermost feelings or the deepest problems, and this has been for as long as they've grown up. So we're kind of pretty close like that, and we didn't have to we didn't have to fight in raising them, because we were on the same page.
Right, which makes a world of difference. So Andre, you're at a different level, as we discussed
Absolutely.
earlier. You now, Andre, have to be thinking about schools, what you're going to get them into, what disciplines. How do you are not in the home? How do you manage that and balance that and have the same, all right, let's say, input? Mom.
I have been very fortunate, because I learned very early on that one of the best things you can do for your children is to kind of choose the parents that they have. So for the most part, we're on the same page for the most part, but we're different individuals. I'm more jovial. I'm more laughing and always playing with them. I'm not the disciplinarian basically. So but so whatever I do, I consult with mommy first, except for in certain critical things. But I'm big on school and education, and I feel and I felt that school must prepare you and must be the great equalizer, so to speak. So I tend to look for schools that has a cultural variety, and so they go to school with people of different cultures, races, ethnic backgrounds, to kind of prepare them, because I'm trying to prepare global citizens. So I don't want when you grow up and you fall into somewhere you're not used to somebody from that culture before. So that's in terms of education. That's what I do. I tend to kind of, okay, they need to go to that school, and we'll argue about that, why you need them to go to that school, and I'm trying to explain, okay, but you also need to do a sport, because sport fosters discipline, coordination, teamwork, things like that. You need to play an instrument. So the eldest plays the violin, and the one in the middle plays the drums. And I didn't send it. Did I send you videos of that?
Yes.
And I don't know what the baby will play as it. I'm thinking she might play the piano. And then you also and everybody has to swim. Probably because I didn't learn to swim until I was older. So I have basic things, and it is for, and so you get exercise, you get a full body exercise with swimming, and that helps to build all around muscles. You get discipline from playing sports, and a language, and things like that. And then you get cultural awareness by going to a school or going into an environment where where different people from different backgrounds are. And basically I dead for hungry for pay feet.
So you have to work hard because
Yeah,
it's you have.
yeah.
Andre, you must have friends because the statistics where um, there are homes void of men is very high. How do you deal with persons in your circle or near your circle, or persons that you know, not necessarily in your circle particularly, that does not have a hands-on approach
You
to their
know what? You know what? I don't have those people in my circle. I have to be very honest. Every single one of my friends, whether they're divorced, married, single, or whatever, are excellent, excellent, excellent fathers. And maybe it is where I find myself, but
Okay.
or the environment that I grew up in, or the profession that I or the profession that I find myself in. But every single one of my friends, and I get examples from those. I made a deliberate decision when I was soon to become a father. To I was recruited, and I joined the lodge, and
Mhm.
they're great examples of good men.
Mhm.
And so I have a cadre of excellent fathers that I can call upon, or if they see me going astray, they can come and nudge and pull in and say, no, 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 I don't think that's the approach. But I have an excellent group of friends who if they don't hold me accountable for anything else,
Mhm.
by the mere actions, by if somebody's going to watch to release turtles, to take the son to release turtles, you might get a WhatsApp message and say, Andre, this is something that you might check out.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody is using something, and we're always talking about each other's children and stuff like that. But and which is what it surprises me when people are saying dads are absent, because
Really,
certainly,
Andre?
yeah, certainly the men
Surprises
that,
you, Andre, really?
yeah, man, the men that I know, the especially of my generation, the
You
people that
don't
I assist,
speak, not at school, nowhere? That is
nowhere.
almost
No,
impossible, Andre.
no,
Almost everybody I know, parent is MIA, except for maybe two or three.
that no,
Their father is MIA.
no, it does not happen. They're far. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Really?
When I'm dropping off my daughter at school in the mornings, I see a good 80% of the parents that are making drop off are fathers.
Well, I'm encouraged. Well, I mean, I'm encouraged from totally me still. I mean, at my business place, we see a lot of top fathers. But we have made a correlation to men who take care of themselves tend to take care of their children. That's what we have said. That me and the girls work it out. That's the only thing we can lighten it to. Those who take care of themselves take care of their children. But the truth is, I know many persons, including myself, whose father was MIA. Many. I mean, I can count on my one hand the fathers who were like there. I've done competitions. I used to do a competition called Men International, and like I did that competition for like 5 years. And each time we did that competition, we could count on the one hand the amount of persons that had dads in their lives, because this was a male competition, and we could count on our one hand the amount of males that were in their children's lives. And even for those who had the man in the house, their mother was their role model. I mean, that was a while back. So I'm encouraged when I hear you speak, that because I don't have any children, so I don't know what is the current happening now in terms of what's happening in the schools and stuff. So that is good for that is wonderful to hear. Can I ask you, did you grow up with your dad, and what was that experience like? And do you think that was a deciding factor in how you manage your girls?
My parents got divorced,
Mm-hmm.
but my father was. I like to think of that my father was so much around for his children that they got back together.
Right.
I mean, they eventually separated again. But
Mm-hmm.
I grew up seeing my father. I grew up doing things with my father. I grew up being disciplined by my father, sometimes too harshly, but I could always go back to my father. Even though my father and I have a very, very special relationship, in the sense that, surprisingly, my father is closer to me than he is to to his girls, and he has 4 girls and 2 sons.
Do you think that made a difference in the way you behave? Because the
It
fact that
did.
you had a role model.
It Role model is probably, I don't know if that's the word. I always tell people that I use my father as an example. Good example, bad example. There's some stuff that my father did that I tried. I vowed to myself I will not do that.
Right.
So my kids will never see me do that. But then I am the father that I am exactly because of the father that he was. So my father came to my cricket games. I mean, him stop the game when I was a captain, and stop the game and tell me that, listen, you had a foolishness. But he was there. drive a little old van and doing CXC, and the rain a fall, and me say, yo, how me I gonna reach home? And I see a head peep through the door. Yo, Mumbles, you ready? Calling me in school, calling me by my nickname. And say, come, you going to football games, and me and my friends there, show the key, give me, and said drive. And he's in the back. So he allowed me to grow. I was always a smaller one. So I would get beat up and go home and ball, and him say, listen, you're the smaller one, that's what is going to happen. And then behind my back, he would go and talk to the boys and say, listen, he's a smaller one, you have to be more careful and whatever. But and we know that. So I had, to this day, I have an awesome relationship with my father. He's my biggest cheerleader. He calls and say, "Oh, everything all right? You good?" Things like that. I don't know if he does it with his other children, but we have that
That
relationship.
relationship.
And so even
Derrick,
when he wasn't inside the home, he was always close by.
okay. Derrick, let me ask you the same question. Did you grow with your dad? Did you have a relationship with your dad? Hear me, Derrick?
No, my my dad. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
my dad was never married to my mother, so I
Mm-hmm.
had very little relationship with him. But I had a strong family unit. I grew up with my grandmother and grandfather for a number of years, and I had aunts and uncles who were close. So and the males
So you had
in the
strong
family
male, so you had
were
strong male
quite
role models in your life.
accomplished men. Yes, yes, yes. So I never missed missed him.
Right.
So I didn't have a longing or I felt I missed out or I had a desire because everybody else filled the gap.
Do you think your
I don't know how
unit, I
that
mean,
affected.
no, go ahead, go ahead. I think it's delayed because you're overseas. I
No, I
think
was
it's
saying
delayed.
how affected my. Oh, okay, yeah, I do believe
Mm-hmm.
I okay. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know how it affected my my parents girls, but I just know that I like being close and I like having loving and fun relationships and that's what I try to exhibit with the kids when they were growing up and obviously it made a difference and helped.
Do you think also your church family had a hand in that? Because you have always, I mean, both you and Nadine have from you met, with the church. You have always been in the church heavily.
Um,
Do you think that the church played a heavy role on how you brought up your children or your church family? Let me say your church family then.
I wouldn't say the church. Um, well, not in how we not how it is. The church environment provided a relatively safe space for them to experience friendships. Uh, but I don't think in any other way it made such a difference because we just had had it the way we had it at home, and they felt comfortable. This is another thing.
Right.
I wanted to have a home that was that the kids felt comfortable being in, where they could have their friends come over, invite their friends, and feel safe, secure, and be able to live and laugh and be happy and grow. You know, I just did not want them to have to live in anxiety and in fear and all that kind of things. And I do believe that we've accomplished that. You know, one day I asked my daughters, both of them at the table, what I think I asked what was the most difficult thing in their lives that they had experienced or something like that, and you know, and oh, I had to do the dishes or something like that. I was like, really? This is the trauma in your life that you had to do dishes? So I believe that we really provided a place where to protect it. Yep.
It's going in and out. I don't know why. So protection was at the top of your list. You know, letting them not fear anything, providing protection, and knowing that they have a soft space to fall with you and their mom. I had asked earlier, but I don't think you answered me. I don't know if I preempted you by moving on to another question. You prepared them how, in terms of getting on the dating scene, because the dating scene out there rough, you know. They're both getting married. When they started dating, how did you manage that? Because Andre has to look forward to that, so maybe you can give Andre some advice for when that time comes.
Well, I think the most important thing is not setting, you know, dates and times and all that kind of thing, but making sure that they are strong and independent and can make wise decisions and choices. I try to strive that you are special, you are important, you are the best thing, you are the smartest thing, you are everything. So, and if you talk to them, they really feel that way about themselves, you know. And it's not conceit, but they have high self-esteem.
You ensure that.
And they carry themselves that way. So nobody could, no guy could really come in and spin some kind of story and try to, you know, fool them around. You know, they're not having that. They're not having that. So and I felt confident that they would, you know, they would make good decisions when they were choosing somebody to date. So we haven't had any dating horror stories for real.
You have been very blessed, but
Preparation.
do you think that if something, well, what has been your experience when they were having issues with their boyfriends? Would they have a discussion with you to ask you what you thought? Was your advice sought?
Okay.
Or would they go to mommy?
They didn't start dating. No. They came to me because we kind of always was able to talk about things. This is another thing that's important, I think, for a dad. is to listen without judgment, and that's kind of hard for parents on a whole to do. But I tried to, when they were talking to me, to listen without judging them, without trying to fix the situation, without trying to solve the problem. Just listen. I girls are emotional beings, and we have to be able to acknowledge how they feel, and be able to empathize with them. And when they see that feeling, what they're feeling, they react a different way, and they're a little more open. And one of the girls, it's harder to get information out of her and for her to open up. But how I deal with it is I ask a lot of questions. I always say I ask 1,000 questions, you get 100, and that way, eventually it comes out. It comes out in like a tap, dripping, 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 until you get the whole picture. The other one kind of will open up and pour it out to you. So it's but either way, you get the information, and you try to help them. You try to advise them, and hopefully they take it.
What I'm hearing from you, Derrick, is that it requires a lot of patience, a lot of listening, a lot of getting to know who they are as individuals, and planning accordingly with each person. That's what I'm getting from you. So what happened? Let me ask you this before I go on to the next question. Let me ask you the same question I asked Andre. If you have friends that are not involved in their children's lives, do you have a word with them, or you have the same experience that you don't know anybody in your village?
Yeah, I would. I do have some friends like that, but I'm a talker. I will. When I say talker, I'm not like this stage is new for me. I've never done this kind of stuff before. But I can sit with people
Thank you.
one-on-one and listen to them, hear their heart. Yeah. I hear their heart, and I would advise. Everybody's challenges, their life issues, and we can and we certainly can try to help and pour into them. So if I see.
Do you think that's your job, though? That's what I'm trying to get at. Do you think that is something you are to do as a man who knows better? That's what I'm trying to get at. Do you think it's important for you to say, hey, what's going on here?
Well, yeah. If the person is my friend, yes, I will. I will do that. But I always try to respect the boundaries.
You see, there we go. Okay, so therein lies the problem. The reason why I'm asking both of you this question is because I've had this question asked several times, because we have a lot of conversation, real conversation, because it's all female staff and it's all male customers. So we have had these debates in the salon many times. And most times I find that men don't really think it's their prerogative to really get into what we call people business, or it's not their business to talk to the person because it's not their business. I think a lot of men feel not hesitant in reaching out because they just don't think it's their place. Maybe in the church it's a little different, but I'm talking about generally.
Well,
Because my theory, or should I say our theory at Totally Male, is that if men get involved with other men, they would do better. That's our theory. Because there's a lot of I don't want to call it competition, but I see where there's a lot of, wanting to belong, wanting to be respected, wanting to kind of keep up with what everybody else is doing. So I'm thinking if other men looked down or spoke about or spoke into the men who are not really pulling their weight, things would get better. That's my thinking. What is your view on that? And then later I'll ask Andre what is his view on that. What is your view on that? Is there any truth to our thinking? What do you think? Because I don't think the woman can make the difference. I think it's on the men to make the difference.
Right. I believe that in any situation, if there's intervention, if somebody gets involved, they certainly can offer advice or guidance, and somebody else would take the advice if they choose, or if it's good. That's in any situation, including this one. If you have an unhealthy relationship with your children or your ex or spouse, and you're friends with somebody, you could maybe speak a little bit in their life, but you have to be aware. I think it's not a blanket answer like, okay, if he's acting up, it's my place to tell him to fix himself or to fix his life. We don't know what's going on. We don't have all the details. So we just say we're gonna jump in and try to fix that situation.
Not fix, but
you have to
encourage.
be careful.
Let us use the word. Let us use the word encourage, Derrick. I don't want to say the word. I don't want to use the word fix. Let us use the word encourage. That's a softer kind of word. Encourage.
Yes, absolutely. But again, you have to have all the information, all the details before you can say, hey man, what's happening?
Right.
I may notice that, and I tell you, a lot of men will shut you down, shut you right up. They'll tell you, hey, that's none of your business, or you don't know what they're dealing with. There are other parties involved. There's a mother of the children. There's a lot to take in. So you just can't just say, well, men could fix the man, or men could encourage the man, and it's going to be all okay. It's a much deeper issue, a much bigger picture than that.
Andre?
You sure you want to ask me this?
Yes, I want to ask you. I want to ask you.
My own.
Because, and that's because what we have been seeing is that men kind of have a hands-off approach.
As I said, my experience.
You see, you mentioned you belong to a club. You belong to lodge. So we're not talking about people who belong to groups like Rotary, Kiwanis, Lodge, Lions. No, in general. But let's talk generally. If you see a brother not doing his thing, because Could anybody keep you from your children?
Me?
Yes. Could
Well,
anyone keep you from your children?
the short answer to that is no.
Exactly.
No,
So what I'm saying,
the short
half of
answer
the
is no.
half of the excuse are
No.
they are. Let me make you answer. I'm not gonna answer the question for you.
My own perception is this. Men are naturally wired to provide and protect for their children. Naturally. So if that is not happening, it's either one, something wrong with the man, or two, something is wrong with the environment. There's an external reason why he's not doing that. So we have to look at the environment. What is causing this man to not do what he's naturally predisposed to do?
Right.
So that is it. There was a time when I could be accused of not doing that. But then the environment wasn't allowing me to do that. There were external factors that wasn't allowing me to do that. Once those external factors were corrected, then I could revert to what it is natural.
Yes, go ahead.
Then I could revert to what it is natural for me to do, provide and protect my children. Men are not naturally predisposed to nurture. Women are. So if a woman is not nurturing or is not or not doing what she's and of course I'm not the scientist here, then we have to now look at what is preventing this from happening. Is there something physically or mentally or socially wrong with the male why he's not doing that? Once you have this determined that there's nothing wrong with this man or this male or this whatever, then we now have to look at the environment or what external factors are preventing this. And I can tell you a lot of the times it is things that are external, outside of the control of the man, that is preventing.
That's not true, Andre. When a man has 26 children out there, that's not him, really?
What? No,
When a man
as I said, I can only speak from the experience I can only speak from my experience and the experience of my peers, that a lot of the times it is.
Yeah, but Andre, I know you don't live in a bubble.
Yeah, I know.
You do not live in a bubble. And I know you see the crime rate in Jamaica. And I'm sure you have heard Dr. Herbert Gale on many occasions speak to the fatherlessness of these men or boys.
Yeah.
So that is the situation
that is something that we have to fix socially. That's something that we have to fix as a society. And it will not be fixed by casting all the blame at the feet of men. It at the feet of fathers. Our crime issue is not, and I will argue with it is not only a fatherless issue. I know many successful men, a whole lot of them, who and one is Mr. Edwards, Derrick Edwards is right here. So you might not have a father, but you have strong father role models, strong role models, male role models.
Yeah, but when we talk about fatherless, we mean fatherless and no mentors either. So that's why they turn to gangs, because the gangs offer mentorship.
So as a society,
a father figure.
So as a society,
some kind of family unit.
So as a society, we have to look at what is We have to look at that and so how do we fix that? And it has to it cannot be let us blame fathers. It cannot be that alone. It has to be okay. This is the problem
No,
that
we're
we're
not looking
having.
for anyone to blame.
Mhm.
It is a part of it. We're trying to work out solutions and to kind of pinpoint how we're going to navigate, because the women on their own cannot get the men to stand up. What I'm trying to find out is how can we move the men? I mean, yes, they are, well, for want of a better word, broken
But
in the sense
but
that
but
maybe
but
they did not grow up with any mentorship, so they don't know how to father, right? So
but
that's part of it.
I think Sandra, I think we have made that we have made a shift. I think we have made significant progress
And
in
I'm
the
agreeing
type
with you.
with the type of fathers that we are producing.
I'm
I
agreeing
I
with you.
I think,
But
and I've
how can
said it,
we get more?
and I've said no, but we have to. I mean, look at the gains that we have made. I've said it publicly and in any forum that I'm at, that this generation, my generation of fathers, are probably the best generation of fathers that I don't know about Trinidad, but are probably the best generation of fathers
Is in the
Jamaica has ever produced. You see it you see the evidence every day. You drive through depressed areas. I've seen for probably the most time in my life, fathers have them little girls and them on them shoulder and them bicycle taking them to school. As I tell you, where my daughters go to school in the morning, 80% of the drop-offs are by fathers. When I go and play football and talking to the guys from different areas of the society, we're discussing our children, schools, and a lot of the times where and you might hear it where you work, also discussing that we're not being given the opportunity to spend time with our children. So a
by
lot of
their mothers.
by their mothers. One of the issues that we have had to grapple with, and Derrick hasn't had to deal with that, is that a lot of people associate a failed marriage, and you and I have spoken about it. A lot of people have determined that if your relationship doesn't work, a failed marriage means you are a failed father. I tell people my relationship with my wife or my spouse is completely different from my relationship with my daughters. And I have and I have and I have told the mothers, you will not come between me and my daughter. You
Yeah, but not everybody takes that stance.
because
Everybody
not
say, you
every
not deal with me not deal with the pin in them
but
neither.
because not everybody, probably not everybody has the will to make that fight or stands up for that. The same Dr. Herbert Gale that we have spoken about, you he and I have spoken, and and he has told me on different occasions that a lot of women have come to him, boy, the boyfriend not support or the boyfriend not do that, and he has said, go home, be respectful, or do this, do that, treat the man nice, and almost none of them have come back and said, I've done that and it hasn't worked. So the thing is,
So you're saying that the breakdown in the communication between the woman and the man, and the woman is playing hardball, is keeping the men away from the children. Is that what you're saying?
in a nutshell, yes. However, you there look at it this way, Sandra. If I come to you, if I come to you and said, if on Monday and Tuesday I said to you, I want to spend some time with my daughter, and you say, I don't have no time for that, I can't do that, or whatever it is. But on Friday, you're going to call my phone and say, listen, the picnic want this and the picnic want that. Go and go look after the picnic. Because I wanted to spend time with her. I wanted to hang out. I wanted to do that. And you said no. Why now on Friday you're going to ask me for money? So we have to look at how we communicate as adults. We have to separate our emotions, and we have to understand. I tell people all the time, I do not anything that I do for my daughters, I do not do it because I love them. I do it because I have a duty to, because love is fickle, love is an emotion. And if their mothers and I have an argument or whatever, I've had to overcome that. I've had to say, yo, listen, it is not about you and your ex-wife. It is not. It is about you and your child. Because at some point, all of them are gonna have sense. And at some point, they are going to know who is responsible for them not getting to see them father. And a lot of the times, it's bitter parents that are causing issues between the children and the father. And I remain. So it is, a lot of men are offended when they're treated as an ATM. Anybody would be. Nobody wants to be felt, to feel used. Yeah. Nobody.
Agreed.
So if I feel like I'm being used merely for my financial resources, if I'm just being looked upon as a wallet, then I'm going to rebel. And the best way I know how to make an impact is to withhold the resources that I have.
Right.
So so communication is important. You understand? So it can, and I say it can be okay if you don't provide money, you cannot see your child. Because you and I both agree, I mean mother and father will agree, that a child needs more than money. A child needs time.
And the truth is, if I use myself as an example, I don't remember that daddy didn't bring money. I remember that he wasn't there.
True.
So the money part is really between you and the parent. The other parent has nothing to do with the child. The child don't really have nothing to do with the money.
But man have feelings to Sandra.
Yes, so someone,
and people tend to forget that.
And I'm in full agreement with you. But what I'm saying now, for someone who has successfully or seemingly successfully navigated that
chasm,
coming together and co-parenting, what would your advice be to the men and to the women? Just give us some advice.
Communication. It is key. Remove yourself.
Everybody say communication is key. What is communication is key? What is that?
No, what I'm saying is
exactly.
Remove yourself from.
Don't tell what you talk about.
Take your emotion out of it. Understand that you have both of you has a responsibility to parent, and it is in every child's best interest to have both parents on board. And you do not have to live. One person does not, and it's my thing, I don't have to live with my child in order to offer parental guidance. It would be best if I do, but it is also bad for the child if we're going to be in the same, if them wake up on morning time and mommy and daddy not talking. That will also have an emotional, or mommy and daddy arguing or quarreling every minute and mommy and daddy can't say eye to eye. So come together and work out what is in the best interest of my child. And figure, plan, be strategic in there. And you, if we can't stand to see each other, then you can't stand to each other. Figure out a way how it work. Don't let your feelings get in the way of either the mother parenting or the father parenting, because whether you speak to the mother or you speak to the father or not, your roles and responsibilities don't change.
And
They don't.
my thing is, no matter how good the mother is, she's not a dad. She's not a man. Put it that way. And no matter how good the dad is, he's not her mom. Because you have some single dads also. You have some single dads also. They need both parents for that balance. Because both parents offer something different.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Derrick, you don't have that situation. What would you say has been your biggest challenge with growing girls? You have the support of a wife, but as a dad, what has been your biggest challenge throughout the 26 years of being a girl dad? Any big challenge, or it has just been easy for you?
But I would say, you know, that I mean, as a family, we've really been blessed because I really haven't had a lot of challenges that I can, or I say negative challenges with those girls. So I don't know why I was chosen or why I was favored that way, but it they've been focused. They've done well in school. They have been driven to be successful. They haven't made a whole lot of rash decisions. So I've been pretty blessed and fortunate. So
because one is now in law school, right? One is now in law school, and Tara is what, an IT specialist.
Yeah.
I can't remember. What did they do in university?
Data analyst.
Data analyst, and Kyle is doing law now. And
Yes.
Kyle is doing law now.
Right.
Right. So they're both successful, yes, and they're both musicians, and so they're pretty well rounded.
Yes. And
what
I think another key to that is
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. You go ahead. You were saying something.
No, yes, I was saying yeah, they've also been they've been exposed to a lot of different things. So their world is not, it's not small. They're not
Right.
grown up in a little bubble. So so I think they're well rounded, and I feel weird saying it, but not a whole lot of drama.
All right. So what would your advice?
I'm proud of them,
so what would your advice be to other dads? Give us like 5 of your biggest insights in fatherhood. What are your 5 top insights?
Ooh.
Well, I know one you said was to listen. I know one you said definitely was to listen.
That one.
You said listening was a
yes,
biggie.
yes. Listen. And yes. And I think also and approval matters to a kid. You know, that we approve of them, that we approve of what they're doing, and we need to let them know and tell them when they do well, and when they are excelling, or when they meet and exceed expectations. Then we need to
So affirmation, to affirm them strongly. So constant affirmations.
Yes.
I know another thing you said was to expose them.
Absolutely.
To expose them as well.
Yes.
So I said, listen,
yes,
expose,
and
affirm, protect. You had said protect. You had said protection as well, and there was another thing. There was something, as you said, quite a few times.
I mean, a big one I think is also to be available for them.
Availability. Absolutely.
Or even when they don't think they don't need you, but to be available for them.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to show another fun moment with one. Wow, you're having fun with your girls, and that's another thing. Have fun with your girls. And
Wow.
and a big one now. Oh boy, listen. What this reinforces for me is that when you have strong fathers in girls, like girls and boys, it makes them more confident. It makes them more self-assured. It gives them a benchmark as to what to look for in a man. Would you agree, Andre?
I don't want to think about that, if I'm being honest. but
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 it would force you to behave, right?
no, because I think, well, it is said that that a young girl first falls in love with her father, and then
Absolutely.
she probably falls in love with a man like her father. And I I don't think I'd have a big issue with my daughters. Their mother would disagree, but with getting married to somebody like me. But
Oh, God. But
I think they
there's always time to grow, Andre, and change.
no, no, I
And
think they could do
improve.
worse. I think
It
they
could be
can do worse
worse.
than me,
It could be
if I'm
worse.
being honest. But they seem to be turning out well. They have both have
Yes.
pretty strong mothers as well. So it is, and that's important. So,
Excellent.
mhm.
All right, so just give me any last words before we leave this platform. And what I'd love for you to say, both of you, maybe if you have a word for those men who are not having this experience, who could be having this experience, I would love for you to encourage those who have children and for whatever reason are
I,
not a part of their lives. What are they missing? I mean, well, you can see what they're
I
missing, but
I I I work very hard to be a part of my children and my girls' life, because I genuinely enjoy being around my daughters. They're fun. They allow me to be myself, to be silly, and they
right,
listen. And I remember the last time I was doing rock climbing and climbing all of that and skating, and she's teaching me to skate and all of that. It is so much more fun. It it and just being around them, helping them to discover new things, helping them to discover things about themselves, just offering guidance, offering support, and things like that. Listening to them, as I said,
being
and thank
consistent,
yeah,
being consistent really works.
thanks Derek for some of the gems that you have taught me during this conversation. But it is listen, it is a good wholesome experience, and I look forward to those conversations with them every day, and watching them grow and just being around for it.
And what about those men? What can you say to those men who think that they don't have any input if they don't have any money?
Um, as I say, you said it before. You don't remember not getting stuff from your father, but you remember your father not being there. I don't remember the times when my father was not there. I actually remember the times when he was. So what I do for my daughters, I try to create experiences. I learned that along the way for somebody. So because I will not be there all the time, I try to leave memories them. I try to remember when they were when daddy was being silly, or I try to have them remember the time that she and daddy went rock climbing. So or when daddy and us drove out to Hanover. That video that you played, I was going to look at a site on a Saturday,
Yes,
and like, come along, and they enjoyed it, you know. So I try to create, and it doesn't always cost money to,
right.
to, to create little things together, to do little things, and it literally does not cost a lot of money or any money at all to have real fun and memorable moments with your children that will last. a lifetime. As I said, my
Right.
fondest memory of my father was when him stopped the cricket game.
Right.
And I'm sure he never pay, he should have paid a fine, but it never cost him any money to do that. So trying to create those memories with them at every opportunity that you get. And you'll see a new type of relationship develop between yourself and your child.
Right.
That's my take on it.
Derrick, what are your parting shots? Hearing me, Derrick? What nuggets are
Yes,
you leaving us with?
I would say for dads and their girls or daughters, I know it's a lot of times it's not easy because we are men, but we have to get that out of our heads as men. When you're parenting daughters, we got to not parent as a man or operate like you're like talking to your friends or your boys or anything, you know. So don't parent. I heard somebody said a long time ago, don't parent by gender. You know, take each child as they are and learn who they are and parent them as such. Uh, I know for sure girls, you need to listen well. You need to value their opinions, and you try to stay in touch with their emotions, because it goes like this. And when they're up, you need to be up with them. When they're down, you need to be down with them, trying to lift them up. That's what I would part with.
Well, gentlemen, it has been a very good. I didn't have much questions. I have quite a few comments, but no questions. So I suppose we have covered everything that they wanted to know, because they know that they can ask questions, but nobody seemed to want to ask how you did this or how you did that. But you gave us, both of you gave us, in essence, what it's like to bring up girls. And it we know it's not easy. And I want to, I know Father's Day went yesterday, but we want to applaud both of you in bringing up well-rounded, balanced girls, being there for them, supporting them, um, pouring into them love and attention. I liked what you said, Derrick, about listening and not um, treating them like you're brethren them. You know, they are girls, they're different, they're very emotional. So really you kind of have to step out of your comfort zone to really listen to girls. I have watched you, Andre, with your girls. I mean, every time I see you at the stadium with your girl, one of your girls on your neck, or you always with, one of your girls. I mean, it really warms my heart. You post them all the time. I mean, you are so proud of them. No girl, I mean, no boy can step to your girl them with foolishness. We can tell you that from now, and them don't reach nowhere yet, because you are poured into them. You are always with them. Them sure of themselves, because them know them have a daddy to stand up for them. And gentlemen, that's pretty much what we want as well, not we, because I'm not a parent, but women, I'm talking to you now. We have to find a balance to accommodate the men if they're willing, once they're willing. and find a way to navigate. Because I know now most times it's a money issue. It's either a money issue or a control issue. So maybe we need counseling of some sort to be able to get along for the good of the child. And the men, you may be in a situation where you have been out for a while, well want to go back in, but afraid or don't know how to ask to come back in. You have changed your ways or whatever and would like to restart. Just as one of my customers say, just jump in, just start. Just ask for forgiveness and just start. Because not every day time passes, and whether you do or you don't, time passes. So once again, every day time passes, and whether you do or you don't. Derrick, Andre, I just want to say thank you, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule. It has been a pleasure. I have learned a lot, and continue to do what you do, both of you. I know your work is almost done, Derrick, but it not done yet. Andre, you have several years ahead of you. So once again, my friends on Facebook and YouTube, thanks for joining us. You stuck with us until now. See you next week, same place, same time at 8 p.m. sharp with another interesting topic. So next week, Monday, have a wonderful week. Have a good night.
Thank you.